Before a Nike shoe ever reaches a store shelf, before it is boxed, shipped, or worn, it begins as a question. Not a sketch, not a style, a question. How should the human body move? Inside Nike's design and innovation spaces, the process starts far away from factories and machines. It begins with observation. Designers, engineers, and biomechanical researchers study how people run, jump, stop, and pivot. They analyze motion in slow detail, frames per second broken down into data points that reveal stress, imbalance, and opportunity. Athletes don't move perfectly. Feet don't land evenly. Impact is never symmetrical. And that imperfection is where design starts. Digital foot scans appear on massive screens, layered with pressure maps and heat zones. These maps reveal where force concentrates during movement, under the heel, across the forefoot, along the outer edge. Every color tells a story. Red means stress. Blue means relief. The shoe must respond to these signals. Designers sketch, but sketches are no longer just drawings. They are instructions for machines that haven't been activated yet. Curves are measured. Angles are tested. Flex points are planned with mathematical precision. Materials are selected early. Mesh fabrics are chosen for breathability and stretch. Synthetic overlays are tested for support without weight. Foams are evaluated not just for softness but for energy return, how much force they give back after compression. Nothing is chosen because it looks good. It must perform. Prototypes come next. Some are made by hand. Others are produced through rapid manufacturing tools. These early versions are worn by athletes and testers, sometimes within days of being designed. They are bent, twisted, soaked, frozen, and overheated. Failure is expected here. A shoe that survives testing without flaws is rare. Most designs return to the screen for revision. Cushioning is adjusted. Uppers are reinforced. Weight is reduced gram by gram. Only when performance stabilizes does the design earn approval. That approval triggers the next phase. Manufacturing. Inside Nike's production facilities, the environment changes immediately. Creative freedom gives way to control. This is no longer about possibilities, it's about repetition. Rolls of fabric arrive in carefully managed conditions. Temperature and humidity are controlled to prevent material distortion. Automated cutting machines begin their work, slicing precise patterns for shoe uppers. The blades move fast, but never guess. Each cut follows digital templates exactly. Panels are stacked and sorted automatically. Nothing touches the floor. Nothing drifts out of order. Stitching lines activate next. High-speed sewing machines assemble the upper, binding mesh, synthetic layers, and structural elements together. The rhythm is constant. The sound is mechanical, almost calming. The Nike swoosh is added during this stage. It is stitched, bonded, or printed depending on the design. It doesn't mark completion. It marks identity. Every upper is inspected under bright lighting. Human inspectors and camera systems work together, checking seams, alignment, and symmetry. If something is off, even slightly, the piece is removed. There is no fixing mistakes later. While uppers are being assembled, another process is unfolding nearby. Sole production. Foam compounds are mixed and injected into molds. The chemistry is exact. Temperature, pressure, and timing determine how the foam behaves once it hardens. Some soles include air units, sealed chambers designed to absorb and redistribute impact. These are formed separately, tested for leaks, and measured for consistency. Rubber outsoles are pressed next. Traction patterns are molded into the surface, each pattern designed for a specific activity. Running shoes differ from training shoes. Basketball soles differ from lifestyle sneakers. Cooling racks hold newly formed soles until they stabilize. They are not rushed. A sole that cools unevenly will fail later. Once both components are ready, the shoe begins to take its final form. Uppers are mounted onto lasts, foot-shaped molds that give the shoe its structure. Adhesives are applied with precision. Soles align beneath, guided by machines that allow no misplacement. Heat presses activate. The bond forms. This moment matters more than it looks. The connection between upper and sole determines durability. Too weak and the shoe separates. Too rigid and flexibility is lost. Once bonded, the shoe enters curing tunnels. Time and temperature lock the structure in place. Now the shoe exists, but existence is not enough. It must be proven. That proof comes next. Thumbs up if you're enjoying this deep, behind-the-scenes look into how Nike shoes are truly made. Tap the like button. Once a Nike shoe leaves the assembly line, it looks finished. The shape is correct. The materials are bonded. The branding is in place. But looking finished is not the same as being trusted. This stage exists for one reason only: to prove that what was designed can survive reality. Freshly assembled shoes move forward on conveyors toward testing zones that feel quieter than the rest of the factory. The noise drops. The pace slows slightly. Precision increases. The first tests are mechanical. Automated flex machines grip the shoe at both ends and begin bending it repeatedly. Not gently, not carefully. Thousands of cycles simulate months of walking, running, and stopping. The sole compresses. The upper stretches. Adhesives are stressed. Cameras watch for microseparations along seams and edges. Sensors track deformation. If the shoe changes shape beyond tolerance, it fails. Impact testing follows. Shoes are placed under controlled presses that simulate heel strikes. Force drops vertically again and again, mimicking the stress of landing from jumps or long runs. The cushioning must absorb shock without collapsing permanently. Foam that doesn't rebound is rejected. Traction testing comes next. Soles are pressed against rotating surfaces that simulate pavement, court floors, and wet conditions. Slippage is measured. Grip is calculated. These tests are unforgiving. A design that looks strong can still fail under repetition. And repetition is what real use looks like. Next comes human inspection. Trained inspectors examine every shoe visually and physically. They check symmetry. They run hands along stitching. They press on panels to feel for inconsistencies. Human touch still matters here, because not every flaw is visible to a camera. Shoes that pass move forward. Shoes that don't are removed instantly. They are not repaired. They are not discounted. They are recycled or destroyed, because consistency cannot be negotiated. After inspection, approved shoes enter cleaning stations. Loose fibers are removed. Dust is blown away with filtered air. Surfaces are wiped carefully. This is about presentation, but also protection. A shoe that reaches a customer must feel untouched. Packaging begins next. Each shoe is paired with its match and wrapped in tissue paper. The paper isn't random. It controls friction and prevents surface damage during transport. The shoes slide into branded boxes, aligned perfectly. Accessories are added. Documentation is placed. The box closes. At this moment, the shoe becomes a product. Boxes move along conveyors toward labeling stations. Size, model, and barcode information is printed and applied. Every box is scanned. Every scan updates inventory systems in real time. Nothing leaves without being counted. Boxes are grouped into cartons. Cartons are sealed and weighed. Weight discrepancies trigger automatic rechecks. Cartons then move to palletizing zones. Robotic arms stack cartons into perfect layers. Corners align. Weight distributes evenly. Stretch wrap tightens around the pallet, holding everything stable without crushing the contents. This part looks simple, but it isn't. A pallet that shifts during transport can destroy hundreds of shoes. So balance is enforced here, where correction is still possible. Once wrapped, pallets are scanned again. Destination codes assign them to specific regions. Some pallets are headed to distribution centers. Others go directly to retailers. Forklifts move pallets through wide warehouse lanes. Traffic is controlled digitally. There is no rushing. Speed without order creates damage. At the loading docks, trucks wait on precise schedules. Dock levelers adjust automatically. Pallets roll forward smoothly into trailers. Restraints lock them in place. When the doors close, control changes hands. But tracking does not stop. Digital systems follow every shipment in real time. Routes update. Delays are flagged. Adjustments happen silently in the background. Meanwhile, the factory does not wait. As trucks depart, assembly lines reset. Machines clean themselves. Workstations recalibrate. Materials for the next batch arrive quietly. Because this system never pauses for long. Somewhere else, the shoes arrive. At regional distribution centers, cartons are unloaded and scanned again. Inventory systems update instantly. Shoes are sorted by retailer, store, and online demand. From here, paths diverge. Some shoes travel to flagship stores. Others move to smaller retail locations. Many head to e-commerce fulfillment centers, where they will be packed again and shipped individually. Eventually, the box is opened. The tissue paper lifts. The shoe is revealed. And the entire process disappears. The customer doesn't think about flex machines or impact rigs. They don't imagine palletizing robots or logistics dashboards. They think about comfort, fit, performance. And that is the point. Because a Nike shoe succeeds when the system behind it becomes invisible. Bell if you want more deep, behind-the-scenes stories about how the world's biggest brands really work. Subscribe for the next session. By the time a Nike shoe reaches someone's hands, the factory that made it has already moved on. Not emotionally, not symbolically, systemically, because this system is not built around moments. It is built around repetition. Inside Nike's global manufacturing network, production does not stop once a shipment leaves. Lines reset, counters return to zero, new materials enter quietly. The same motions begin again. This is how scale survives. Factories like this are not designed to feel impressive. They are designed to feel inevitable. Everything has already been decided before the first machine activates. Every step exists because it proved itself thousands of times before. That repetition extends far beyond the factory walls. As pallets of shoes move through distribution centers across the world, Nike's logistics systems remain active, adjusting routes, balancing inventory, and responding to demand in real time. Some regions sell faster. Some models surge unexpectedly. The system adapts without noise. Shoes that arrive at stores are not placed randomly. Inventory systems decide how many pairs go to each location, how often shelves are replenished, and when new stock arrives. Even online orders are routed intelligently, reducing delivery time while balancing warehouse loads. To the customer, it feels simple. Click, order, delivered. But behind that simplicity is a network that never sleeps. Yet Nike's system is not only about speed and volume. Over time, another priority has grown equally important: sustainability. Because repetition without responsibility becomes waste. Inside manufacturing facilities, scrap materials are no longer treated as leftovers. Rubber trimmings, foam excess, rejected shoes, all of it is sorted. Materials are separated by type, shredded, and processed for reuse. Rubber becomes playground surfaces. Foam becomes new cushioning compounds. Fabric fibers re-enter production streams. This does not eliminate waste completely, but it reduces it intentionally. Energy consumption is monitored constantly. Production schedules are optimized to minimize idle power use. Machines enter low-energy states automatically between cycles. Lighting adjusts based on activity. These changes don't make headlines. They make systems survivable. Because Nike is not building for a season. It is building for decades. The same applies to design. Performance data from athletes and consumers flows back into the system. Shoes worn on streets, courts, and tracks become data points. Patterns emerge. Weaknesses reveal themselves. Opportunities appear. The next design cycle begins. Not as a reinvention, but as a refinement. This is why Nike shoes evolve gradually. Cushioning changes subtly. Materials improve quietly. Weight reduces incrementally. Durability increases without announcement. Familiarity is protected. People don't want their shoes to feel new every year. They want them to feel right. That feeling is engineered. Factories continue operating across continents. Some produce running shoes. Others focus on lifestyle models. Some specialize in innovation. Others in volume. But they all follow the same philosophy. Remove uncertainty. Control variation. Repeat what works. That philosophy allows millions of shoes to feel consistent no matter where they are made. When someone laces up a pair for the first time, they are not thinking about design studios or testing rigs. They are thinking about how the shoe feels on their foot. Comfort, support, confidence. And that confidence comes from trust. Trust that the shoe will perform as expected. Trust that it will last. Trust that it will not distract from movement. That trust is not built through marketing. It is built through systems. Systems that do not chase attention. Systems that do not guess. Systems that repeat discipline until reliability becomes invisible. This is why Nike shoes feel familiar across generations. Why athletes return to certain models. Why everyday users buy the same pair again and again. Because the product does not ask to be noticed. It asks to be used. Somewhere, another factory resets. Machines clean themselves. Tools recalibrate. Materials wait. The next pair of shoes already exists in the system before it exists in the world. That is the quiet power of modern manufacturing. Not the noise of production, not the speed of output, but the ability to repeat something correctly millions of times without losing its meaning. This is how Nike shoes are made. Not just from fabric and foam, but from discipline, repetition, and the refusal to leave performance to chance. Speech Balloon, now tell me in the comments which brand, factory, or everyday product should we go inside next.